I think the challenge for many of us is that we don't want to put the mirror in front of us and say, it is time for me to make changes. We'd rather sit in the excuses. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer. I do hope that you join the small but growing family by clicking that red subscribe button on the bottom. But also guys, please do not forget to smash that like button because it does help for YouTube to push my videos for more people to see. So without wasting any time, on today's video we're going to be looking at how has giving myself weekly allowances changed the way that I manage my money or the way that I feel about money. And so when did I start doing this weekly allowance thing? In May, I watched a video by Nicolette Mashile where she was talking about give yourself weekly allowance, give yourself a weekly allocation, because what we tend to do is we only focus on just that week when we get paid. So let's say, for instance, you get paid end of the month. You focus on that week that you get paid. So that means that you pay for everything, your monthly obligations, your bills and all the stuff. You also save during that week. And then you also allocate money for buying groceries and everything that you need to do just for that week. And then after that, it's like, okay, you're done. And then we forget that we still have to leave the other 3 weeks leading up to the next payday. And that is why there is that study that says that most South Africans, by the time after 5 days, they've actually used up all of their money. They have nothing left. And that is because we fail to plan for the 3 weeks that lead up to the next payday. And so that was me for a very long time. And I didn't think that this was a problem. And that is because I knew that there was a credit card. But every time that I reached for my credit card to actually finance my expenses for those weeks leading up to my payday, I didn't feel good because I knew that it meant that I'm going to owe more on my credit card. And so now I feel better with my finances. I feel like I'm on top of my finances now because I actually plan for my weeks. I actually budget for my weeks. And now I do not have that thing to say that I no longer have money. Now I'm going to tell you why for me this has changed the way that I look at my finances, the way that I manage my money, and the way that I feel about my money. How do I do my weekly allocation? So when I get paid now is that I pay for everything. You know, all my obligations, I pay for that. My savings, I put my savings away. And then I have an allocation for the month. No. So what I do now is that I don't put budget for food. I don't say I'm going to buy food, because before I used to say, okay, I'm going to buy food for like 1,800, 2,000 at most, you know, and then there will be food that I'm thinking that is going to last me until month end. But then that was never the case. And I knew this very well because I would spend 2,000 replenishing everything that is finished in this house. Within a week and a half, most of those things are finished. And then what did I do? It's either I went back to my partner and said, can you please give us some money? I want to do this. Or I actually reached out to my credit card in order for me to do those things. And so I felt like I was just working backwards, you know. And also another thing is I never want to be that partner that is always asking for money. I just don't want to be that person. So what I did was I look at my finances now, and from my side, I say, okay, I have 2,000 that I think I can allocate for groceries and anything that we need. However, I need to split this 2,000 for weeks. So if it's 2,000, it's going to be 500 for week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which makes it up to be 2,000. Now, because I have my partner, which I have a daughter with, what he does, he also gives me money. So what I did was I went to him and said, you know what? This is my plan for my finances now. You see that normally we buy groceries in this house, and then after a few weeks we come back to you saying the groceries has finished, can you give us money? So I'm trying this different thing. Can you rather give us this sum of money now, which is normally equivalent to how much I also put in? So if I'm putting 2,000, he has to match it and make it 2,000 as well. So I said to him, give me this money, and when you get paid, then what I'll do is I will allocate it per week, and then I will make sure that it makes sense per week. And my thing is, how I sold it to him was to say, you know what? I'm not gonna, if I come back to you asking for more money after you've given me this money at this time when you get paid, and I come back and ask for more money. You should actually tell me that whatever system that I'm trying to do is not working, because clearly it's not working. How can you give me money and then I allocate it per week, and then I come back to you and say the money is finished, And so that is also how I was trying to keep myself accountable, because even though I think that the system works, that was before I implemented it. When I looked at it, I was like, this could work, but I didn't know how it could work. And so what I wanted to do was allocate it and make sure that I stick to it. If I'm struggling to stick to it, that means that there's something wrong that I'm doing. It's either I'm not allocating enough or I'm not planning very well. So that is what I do now. So every month when he matches it up, so every month in each and every week, let's say for instance, I'll say it's 1,000 each week. However, for the first week, because I'm replenishing the big things in this house, I will make it more. So maybe I'll make it 1,300 or 1,500. On the following week, because I'm adding, I'll make it 500. On the third week, which is month end most of the time for me, on the third week, then I'll make it more. I will make it more also. So maybe also there I'll make it 1,000 or 1,200, because it's been 2 weeks since I've actually bought anything big. So then I will be then going to do also big groceries then. And then the week following up, which is the week leading up to my payday, I will allocate it around 600 or 700. Now what I love is that leading up to my payday, I still have money. I still have money in my wallet or money in my bank account to know that whatever that I may need, I have money. And so I'm not scrambling on leading up to the payday thinking, where am I gonna get money? When am I gonna get paid? The thing of, when am I gonna get paid? This money must come in now. I have so many responsibilities. I don't find myself doing that now, such that this month, I saw it this month, such that when my payday came for June, I actually had forgotten that we're getting paid, because I was not focused on that, because I didn't need, I needed the money to pay for my monthly obligations. However, I wasn't in a rush to say, when am I getting paid? When am I getting paid? Such that that on this day I'm getting paid, And so that for me was a good sign. For me, there was a good sign to say that by the time I get paid, I don't feel stressed about money. I don't feel stressed about whatever that is going on, because I know that it's either I still have some cash or everything is taken care of. So that is how I do my weekly allocation. And I must say that it has changed the way that I feel about money. And it also has changed the way that I feel about payday. So payday for me is like, okay, it's like we are putting another gear now. We are starting again and we are creating another momentum. However, this momentum is not filled by scarcity, but it's filled by, okay, how can we better manage these resources that we have? And that is why even now, what I realize also is that when people are complaining about the prices of food, complaining about the prices of oil at the shops, I'm just like, I don't feel it. And that is because now, because I give myself allocations, this is something very important. Now, because I give myself allocation, I buy things that I need. This thing of having to go to the shop and buy 5 liters of oil when you really don't need it. It's actually not good, because you find yourself that you're spending this money to buy all of these things that you don't need, because now you have programmed yourself that, okay, when I get paid, I allocate 2,500 and then I'm going to go and buy groceries. And you come with all these things that will try to make up for this 2,500, because that's what we do when we make this grocery list. When we're doing our groceries, we say, okay, 2,500, and I have to make sure that I buy everything. I max out this 2,500. Now, what I do is, if let's say, for instance, my allocation is 1,300, I'm going to look at everything that we need in this house, everything that we use in this house. I'll give you an example. Last month, I bought potatoes. A big sack, not a big sack, but 2 kgs of potatoes, those small ones. However, I'm still struggling to finish them. I'm struggling to use them such that they've turned blue. They've senchuamile. And that is because I bought something thinking that this is what I need. But if only I had just focused on, okay, what do I need for this week? So maybe I need about what, 10 potatoes instead of 20 potatoes, because now the rest that is remaining there on my rack is actually ruined. There was a time 3 months ago I bought a butternut, which the one that you have to cut. I bought it from Woolworths. I had to throw it away last week. I had to throw it away because for the last 3 months, I haven't used it. And be saying, so it just goes to show that sometimes when you say we're going to buy these big groceries in a month, we find ourselves buying all these things that we don't need, or the things that we feel that we're going to need, but then we end up not needing. Now that I have allocation for my weeks, what I do is I sit down and I go in through my fridge and I say, okay, how much meat do I have? Now I only eat white meat, so which makes my life so much easier because that's actually more cheaper. But I look at my fridge, my freezer, and say, okay, we have this much meat. How long is this going to last me? Okay, this is good enough for 1 week. Kudos to that. And then I look at my fridge on the other part of my fridge, and then I look, what else do I need here? So now what I do is I'll make sure that I buy my staples. I focus mostly on the things that I know that I use, that I know that I'm going to use in that week or the second week. I don't just buy things now for the sake of, or if I'm buying veggies, I must also include potatoes. I must also include sweet potatoes, which is drumming as well, just as much as the potatoes right now, because it felt like, oh, this is something that I might want. But now, instead of buying all those things that I don't need, I buy for things that I know that I'm going to use. And then weeks leading up to that, it's just a matter of adding. And so I just wanted to share that point because I really think it's very important. Because when you do your once-off allocation and you say, okay, when we get paid, we're going to go in this house and spend 3,000 on groceries, you're going to end up buying things that you don't need. And when I say you don't need, look at the things that go bad in your fridge or in your cabinetry or in your rack for your veggies. Look at the things that normally go bad. That is a sign that you are actually buying things that you don't need during that time. It doesn't mean that you may not need down the line in the month. However, because you bought them early on in the month, and you did not you did not think of all those other weeks, you thought of those other weeks. By the time you get to those weeks, it has ruined. It's not good enough for you to cook or to use. And so I like the weekly allocation because now I don't have to buy things that I don't need. Like right now, I know that when it comes to potatoes, I need a small bag. Something that will just last me for a week or two. I don't need, because I also don't cook every day. And so I know the things that I use and the things that I use often. And now I also know the things that I don't use often. And so I'm rechanneling my money. That is why for me, I feel like this has allowed me to manage my money even better. Because I now make sure that wherever I'm channeling my money, I'm channeling my money on things that I know that in this house we use and we need, and we're going to actually use them, in the rack. That is how I go about my allocation. That is why for me, I feel like this has really changed the way that I look at money, the way that I feel about money, and the way that I spend my money. So if you are not doing this right now, I really encourage that you look at it. I feel like if you can have this locked down right now, especially in this crazy market, in this recession that we are approaching, in this crazy financial situations where everything is expensive and everyone is feeling like they're just drowning. If you can set up such systems for yourself, you will not feel this recession. Even though it may exist around you, it may be stressing everyone around you. But the goal is you don't want to feel it. You don't want every time when you think about doing your groceries, you're always stressed because you're like, all these things are expensive. They're expensive because you end up buying things that you don't need. But if you just focus on the things that you need and you structured your money well, you created systems for your money, you will find that you will not feel this recession. You will not be stressed about prices that are going up in this recession. You will not be one of those people that are rushing towards the petrol station every time petrol is going up, even by 50 cents. You will not be one of those people because you will have systems for your money. You will have systems for your money, systems that are tailor-made for you, that speak to you and that makes sense to you. Because also, as I'm sharing this to you, I'm not saying do exactly what I'm doing, but I'm saying create systems for your money, plan for your money, put weekly allocations for your money, so that you are not so much stressed about money and you are not always rushing for the next payday. Because that is the reason why many of us are in these financial situations, because we are stressed about our next paydays. But also, if I'm being honest, this wouldn't be easy for me to do if, let's say, for instance, well, first thing, if I didn't have my partner. That's the first thing. Also, it wouldn't be easy for me to do if I had a lot of debt. So it's a good thing that I actually took some time to focus so much of my energy in attacking my debts. But I feel like even though you may have all these things, you may not have the support from another person. So let's say, for instance, you don't have a husband. I don't have a husband. You don't have a husband. You don't have a partner to rely on. It's just you. You can still find a way to make your finances speak to you. I think the challenge for many of us is that we don't want to put the mirror in front of us and say, it is time for me to make changes. We'd rather sit in the excuses and sit in, oh my God, Vela Pela, it will be easy for you because of 1, 2, and 3. Hard life is not, I'm just not winning in life, and making all these excuses that make you feel like things are just not working out for you or it's not possible for you. We would rather do that than rather to sit down with ourselves and look at our budget, look at our money, look at how we spend our money, and then make viable decisions then. Many of us, if I'm just being honest, many of us don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to own up to the fact that we have too much debt. And so maybe it's time that we start tackling that debt. We don't want to own up that you have a store card that is actually not serving you, but then you still have it. We don't want to own up to those things. And so I really want these videos to kind of motivate you to make positive changes on your money, towards your money. Because if you really cannot stand to sit down and look yourself in the mirror and said, you know what, you are not doing good right now. What can we change? What can we change in order for us to actually start doing good with our money? Sometimes it doesn't need you to make big things. It doesn't need you to make big decisions. It just needs you to make small decisions that eventually they will add up to this avalanche. And then you will look back and say, I do not know how I got here, but I'm here and I'm grateful. So this thing of weekly allocation doesn't matter how much you get paid, because remember, if you get paid and you spend beyond your means, you are living beyond your means, then you're going to struggle to do this. I'm just going to put it out there. You're going to struggle to do this because you are living beyond your means. But if you get paid and you live within your means, this is possible for you. This is very possible to you because you are living within your means. But if you are not living within your means, you are spending more than what you get paid, then doing this is going to be very difficult. With that being said, I'm going to close off this video right here. I hope that you guys found value in this video and that it was inspirational and it was also eye-opening, and that it sparked something in you, and that you are going to start making positive decisions regarding your money and start accurately planning for your money. And so please take care and stay safe until I see you on the next one. Bye.